there's some good Kickstarters.
Oh, yes, there are.
3 of them are yours, so I don't know anything about any of these games. So what's this one that I'm looking at?
This one's called Outlive, and if you can't tell from the box art, it takes place in a post-apocalyptic sort of world.
Oh, my favorite.
But what I liked about it, and to me the reason why I wanted to, it is a Kickstarter Pickstarter for me, is what it does in the game is you have a group of survivors during the day that go out, gather resources.
Okay.
They each have different strengths, and should yours land on a space with someone else's and yours is stronger, you can raid them, steal their resources. But once you get your resources, the night phase comes in. This is what I like. You actually have to maintain your inner base, your fallout shelter, if you will.
Okay.
Like build up resource areas that maybe give you more permanent water and stuff, and feed your people. So there's much more of resource management.
It almost becomes like a sim.
No, yeah, it reminded me a lot of the Fallout app that came out before Fallout 4, which I did enjoy. I mean, I think they did a good job considering it followed the free-to-play model, but didn't really guilt you too much, I felt, compared to others. But it got to a point when it's really just simple worker placement. Some things were just...
It wasn't meant to be like a real complicated thing.
No, and I don't expect from that either. But with this, I like the idea of being able to do both out and in. Like in the game, you simply sent guys out and they randomly pick up stuff. To actually plan where you're going to gather and stuff and bring it back, and actually have to maintain that, I think sounds really cool. Plus having your own little board with little rooms and stuff.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. It adds a little bit more of a new dimension to it, because...
Yeah, and that's what attracted me to it. And it has 2 versions. It has, I believe, for $49 is the basic version, which you're actually showing behind us. There's a deluxe version, which goes for, I think, $80, in which pretty much every meeple, including like the tokens for like meat, water, wood, are all placed with miniatures. It's like over 200 miniatures or something. It's crazy.
That's not... Yeah, $80 isn't that bad.
I mean, I'm maybe mixing it up with some of the other ones, so double check. Double check before you.
I think you're right from when I glanced at it. I know 48 is for the base.
So if whatever you're up for, I mean, if you just want the base game, I definitely suggest taking a look at this. If you really like miniatures, then take a look at the miniatures one. But overall, I think it is a game that's, I mean, considering post-apocalyptic is, I'd say, something that is...
It's starting to be overdone, for sure.
No. I think it's something that's why it made the list. I thought it did something unique enough.
The ones that stand out. There was another one I saw called the Salt Lands that looked kind of cool.
I don't recall that.
I'm not talking about it today. You sound like you're lying.
No, I really don't remember it. I'm sorry.
But it looks like that one looked cool too. We don't have.
I'll check it out after this.
Yes, I don't know how unique it was in regards to any of these things. Then you've got this one, which is again going from the future to the distant past.
Right. In this game, you're pretty much like vying for power in Rome. And what's cool is sort of like it's a worker placement game, but the thing is, your workers are actually labeled. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and depending on where you place them, like certain activities have like 5 spots, and one of them like only one worker 1 can go here, only workers 1 through 2 can go here, only a worker that has the numbers 1, 2, or 3, so on and so forth. Okay. And depending on where you place them, you might not get all of them back. So there's a lot more than just simply placing your workers to get something.
Okay, and you're basically like building.
Yeah, there's different points.
Rome or whatever. Or
well, more like you're building your power in Rome. Like, like you might have to convince the council. You might get things more armor to like get more victory points. You can gather resources, commission things. Like it's a lot. There's a lot to do.
Okay.
And I love the way the game actually looks too. I mean,
I like the round board.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. There aren't a lot of games with round boards.
Well, because it's hard to fit in a box, I feel.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, but I thought it looked like one of these games, if you really like worker placement, I think this is something to take a look at. Like, it's not, like I said, the worker placement system is actually different.
A little more risk involved.
Right. There's a lot more options. I mean, you can watch the video. There's like, that board has like 50 options you can place your workers on for things. And like keep track of, and I just thought it looked like a really interesting, fun worker placement.
We usually like those, Roman or Greek themed old style games.
It's one of those things that board game people
Euros.
like.
Yeah.
I assume it just has to do with sort of like Roman Greek is almost like one of the main starts of European mythology and culture. So
there's an interesting research paper in there somewhere. I'd like to hear more about that. from people who actually do research and aren't us.
That's my
That's
5-second theory.
I like it. That's Ave Roma. It goes for $57
Correct.
for the base right now on Kickstarter. Next one, again, jumping back and forth through time. This game is called Space Race, and it's all about the not actually being in space, but the actual sort of Cold War era. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, like you want to get to space first, and it's a card game. Actually, has a lot of cards, but it's kind of a smallish box. Goes for $33. And the thing that really stood out to me about it, that unfortunately, well, you can kind of see it from this picture. You'll see it in the video we're playing. Is the artwork is this very cool kind of retro. Painted kind of looking, but I don't know how to explain it. But it looks like a retro kind of aesthetic of it, and it has actual stuff from real life.
Like how you would expect artwork to look in the past, like when the Space Race initially
like
was,
you'd see like a
how
poster,
they saw the future,
like 50s,
right.
like go to the moon and stuff like that.
Sort of like how their ideal future was.
Yeah. But it's got real, you have cards with like JFK on it and Stephen Hawking and like real stuff.
I think it would be, I don't know how the game works, but
yeah.
It would be funny in terms of you want to set difficulty or time. Like, I don't know how the game ends, but actually make it like your goal is to make it to the moon. Your goal is to make it to Mars. Like the distance is the literal.
That would be interesting. Essentially, it's basically you cards have different abilities, and depending on which kind of like other cards you have, it triggers different rows of abilities, sort of like a deck Star Realms kind of thing, a little bit. But it's not a deck building game. But anyway, it's Space Race. You can go look at it. I did a bad job of explaining it, but it looks fun. I think all of the games we're talking about today, or most of them, have already been funded, so they're pretty cool. I feel like we might have actually seen this game at when we were at.
I don't recognize
Like
it,
at Gen Con, like people were playing it. I don't know. I could be thinking of something else. Anyway, final one. This is another one that I need to ask you what's separating this one from the pack, because there's a lot of these.
What I like about this one, first of all, is it's not just, hey, look, we have Obama and Trump and, joking about the current political situation. Like, this one actually plays a lot more on the actual system, not the people in it, the actual people. The way it works is each of you are vying for candidates and stuff, and you actually get a card, and you'll say, like, which I like, it gives you a pro. Like, if you're the wealthy person, you'll do well in the Northeast, or extra this, but then a con, because if you think about it, everyone has a plus and minus.
Right.
And there's a lot more cards, and it has the entire map where you have to vie for not just votes, but you have to vie for getting campaign funds, using airtime, commercials. It focuses a lot more on all the things that they have to do. So for me, what makes this stand out is I feel like it focuses a lot on everything that happens in the political world, not just, hey, this is a crazy election year, let's come up with a lot of.
Right.
Which is what I actually would want from a game like this, Something that makes you and you have to think of all right, we got some commercials that should help us in the Southwest. However, we got to increase our voting in this area. Let's get some campaign funds from Oregon, but that means we have to support this agreement. I feel there's a lot more you could.
It is funny how well it seems to elections lend themselves to board games. All that stuff is because it's basically it's a competition for points. That's what votes are. Yeah, that's all it is. I haven't looked at it, but the art looks, just the aesthetic of it, I like the box.
And then you can they should come up with an expansion called the Super Delegates, in which votes are just randomly dealt out, and no matter what, that's just how it goes.
No, one of your friends secretly from the shadows then chooses everyone without listening to anyone else.
Someone calls their mom, and the mom is the one who gives out.
Then they take their mask off, and it's a reptilian. Anyway, Illuminati. So.
And if you haven't guessed, judging by behind us, it goes for $49.
Oh, I was gonna look at my phone, but I didn't have to. That's right. Campaign Trail, $49. And that is all of our Kickstarters. You can find links to them below. Some interesting ones in there. There was also, I didn't put a thing up for it, but because we already talked about it, that Hologrid game, the AR, VR monster battle from the guy who did the Star Wars chess game is up there, and that looks cool. I hope that that's successful, because they're planning it for mobile, and there's also a box of it. And I didn't even realize there was going to be a boxed version with actual AR cards, and then they're working for the virtual reality versions. And they said one thing I didn't realize either.
It.
I might. I probably will. I don't know. They said that it will be it's not a like microtransaction thing. It's going to be you buy the game, and then there might be expansions, but you won't have to worry about
So more
cards.
LCG.
Yes, more like an LCG, not a CCG, which is surprising because that would be an easy way for them to make money off of it.
But I guess the thing is with LCG, or if it's a CCG, you probably have to make more models maybe.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you have to keep people interested, unless you just do like the green version of it. Now it's got a horn or whatever. I could see him doing that too.